everyone, I'm Victoria and today I've got a Top 5 Wednesday for you. What's Top 5 Wednesday? It's a Goodreads group started by Lainey from Ginger Reads Lainey, which is now moderated by Sam from Thoughts on Tomes. As always, links in the description. So today's topic is the top 5 books that represents your Hogwarts house. So in case you couldn't tell, I am a Gryffindor, though I have to say I am a little mixed on this. I always just assumed that I was a Ravenclaw because I'm a smartass, honestly. And then I finally took the test on Pottermore and it said I was a Gryffindor and I didn't know how to feel about that. But I think that I finally reconciled the fact that I am a Gryffindor. I can still be a smartass. I'm just a brave, courageous smartass. Okay, number 1. I know it's super obvious, but I'm gonna have to go with Harry Potter. This thing is basically a love letter to Gryffindors. I mean, obviously, it stars a whole bunch of Gryffindors, and they're constantly doing Gryffindor things. They're going off being brave and courageous, and maybe a little stubborn and reckless, but, you know, trying to be good all the same. So for me, this is definitely probably a book that represents Gryffindors the best. I know it's kind of cheating, but I'm gonna go with it anyway. So moving on to number 2, I have Burning Bright by Melissa McShane. So this is basically an alternative history with a little bit of fantasy. Essentially, it takes place during Regency England and the Napoleonic Wars, but there is magic. And so it's very, very sought after, especially amongst the nobility. And our main character, Eleanor Pembroke, is 21 and doesn't have any magic yet, which usually indicates that she doesn't have any, but then suddenly she manifests this really strong power of fire. She's able to control it, and this is a very rare thing. So the reason that I chose her and this book to represent Gryffindor is because she's extremely brave and tries to do the right thing, even though it might not be the safest thing, even though it might not be the thing that everybody expects her to do. So essentially she's given 2 choices. She can either marry someone that she doesn't love or remain dependent on her horrible parents. But instead, she decides to do something for the greater good, and she goes and joins the Royal Navy, even though women aren't necessarily allowed in it. But because she has this amazing magical ability, she can use it in battle and hopefully win the war. So despite society's restrictions on her gender, she does the right thing, she's courageous, and she goes off and joins the Navy. And that's why I think that this book is a wonderful representation of Gryffindors. Then we have Third Daughter by Susan K. Quinn. This is kind of a Bollywood meets steampunk fantasy-esque book. It's a ton of fun, and especially our main character, Aniri, is the 3rd daughter of the Queen of Daria, and because of that, she doesn't have a ton of responsibilities. So here we kind of see that Gryffindor kind of recklessness and brashness. So she kind of sneaks off into the gardens to kind of meet with a man that she might have some feelings for. She doesn't really have that many responsibilities, so she does feel like she can go sneak off on these adventures. But when it is needed, she does step up to the plate. She receives a proposal of marriage from a northern barbarian, which she accepts so that way she can secretly spy on them and trying to find their plans for flying machines that they have, and so that way she can avert a war with them. So I love this because you get both sides of that Gryffindor. You get that bold brashness, thinking they can do anything that they want, a little reckless, but then at the same time that ultimate good that wants to help people and is courageous and will put themselves in danger in order to help others. Next up, I have The Queen's Thief by Megan Whalen Turner. This is a YA fantasy that is set in kind of an ancient Greece setting, and we follow the character of Eugenides, or Jen. Now, to me, he is the perfect embodiment of so many things that are Gryffindor. He is brave, and he is reckless, and he is brash, and he does not think about the consequences of his actions. He's cocky and thinks he can never get caught, but of course he eventually does. Despite all these things, he is still trying to achieve the greater good by whatever means necessary, even if that means putting himself in harm's way. So he is definitely a courageous, courageous person, the embodiment of so many Gryffindor values. Finally, we have the Song of the Lioness Quartet by Tamara Pierce, specifically the character of Alana. So Alana is a young woman at the beginning of this series. It is a YA fantasy, and she wants to become a knight. Unfortunately, Girls are not allowed to become knights in this world. And so she trades places with her twin brother. He goes off to study magic like he always wanted to do. And she goes to learn to be a knight. But of course she has to pretend to be a boy and transforms herself into Alan. So I absolutely love this series. It's fantastic. If you haven't read it, I highly suggest it. I especially love the character of Alana. She is absolutely determined to get what she wants, and it doesn't matter what she has to do to achieve it, even if that means ignoring all the gender roles for her in her society. She doesn't care. She wants to become a knight, and she bravely tries to do it. And so that's why I think that this is a wonderful series that definitely represents Gryffindor values. Thank you everyone for watching. That has been my top 5 books that represent my house. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all the things. Thank you again, and see you next time.